shorten it to not put people on the
Word.
spot. Word. To not
Whoever
put
has
people
one,
on
I'll go
for this
first.
guy.
I'll go
Okay,
first.
Jackie, go first.
Okay. Fumi has. Oh, this is weird. I'm supposed to tell her.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I hope I don't cry.
I hope so.
She's been a really good sister to me. And I remember a little. She always took care of me. I'm gonna cry. I don't want to cry, guys. I'm too young.
Oh, so when I turn 25, I can cry.
No,
Okay.
I can do this. And one of my favorite memories of her taking care of me is when we were at our cousin's, and we were supposed to go on a truck ride with them, and everyone hopped in the back of the truck, and I wanted to get in too, and she said no.
It's like the bed of the truck.
Yeah. And then I remember Uncle was like, "Will you guys need to come with us?" And she was like, "No, my sister and I are not going anywhere unless we have our seatbelt." She's like, "We need a seatbelt for that bunk," and I was like, "No, sis, I'm okay, really." She's like, "No, you're gonna be safe." And so she gave my uncle like the look, and so we got us in the back seat of the truck. I was a little bummed, but like she always took care of me. She always made sure I had my seatbelt on, that I didn't flip people off, that I didn't use bad words, that I didn't tell strangers. Like she'd tell me when you're little too, and you're riding through, I'd be like, "Hi, hi," and the grocery store, she's like, "Jackie, don't talk to strangers." So I sit there, but she was just, I don't know. You always took care of me in the track and everything. Like you were just always there for me. And you were my number one fan, so I appreciate that. You're good to hear. And I get the big sister. Cut me off now because I'm emotional.
This isn't my turn, but you have a Scoggin watch. I have a Scoggin watch.
It's Brennan.
The Scoggin watch. Isn't that Scoggin?
It says Brennan. But random story. So,
This isn't your time.
sorry. My auditor lady, she has a Scoggin watch because I asked her because I thought it was my watch, type of watch. No, it's Scoggin. But anyway, that's Brennan.
Is the Scoggin watch a brand or is it like
Yeah.
a style?
It's a brand.
But
Most of
the
their
band's
bands are
a lot
like that. That's why I thought it was Scoggin.
I must have one.
Alright, enough about that. Popcorn.
I think Ashley and I are different in a lot of ways, but we are like in just the way she like treats people and stuff. I really look up to that, and there's been a lot of times where, you know, if I'm going through a rough time or vice versa, that we've been able to be there for each other and go on like walks and stuff, run parks and have coffee and just share life stories and, you know, stressors, and even if it's petty or just the littlest thing, we're able to talk about it and, you know, make each other feel comfortable about it. And she's a very supportive friend, and will be there for anyone. I know that. And so, and we have shared a painting thing. Like she said, we're both good, but in our own way. And so it's nice to be able to share that and feel comfortable doing that and stuff. So.
Thanks, Kyle.
Okay, mine is. Oh, I just forgot. I had it so good. No, it's okay. Well, one thing I really like is you're really good at like cutting through the crap. And like for me, like sometimes I used to be a terrible people pleaser, like terrible. And I still sometimes there will be times where I'm like definitely doing things for other people rather than like what's best for me. And I could always talk about that with you, and even if you didn't agree with maybe what was best for me, you would still like point out like, well, you're making this decision because you think this is what other people want from me. And, you know, like, we lead different lives, but you like still will always listen, will always like think before you give advice and stuff. So I really liked that. And then I always remember, so before when I was still a student and when I decided like I want to work for Deloitte, I went to Ashley and I'm like, let's go on a run. And I hadn't been running, which that was my first mistake. I wanted to talk to her about, you know, working for Deloitte, and I knew I'd have to step it up a lot. And she was like, obviously I need to be Ashley Fuga. That was pretty much what I was getting at. But so we were running, and I'm like, maybe we should just be walking. Because I can't tell you what my goal was. So we like walked and ran, and I told her like that I wanted to work at Deloitte, and that this is what I needed to do, and that I wasn't a good test taker, and I needed to get my GPA up. The only reason it was a little bit down is because of tests, and so she like talked me through how she takes tests. And so yeah, so it's just been a neat journey because like a lot of people don't know a lot about accounting because it's not that interesting to 99% of the world. But she's like, she's the person that gets it. So it's neat.
Yeah, I guess kind of going along with that, the cutting through the crap, I think that you kind of hit it on the head when you say it's almost like a brother-sister type thing because we can be upfront with each other. Like if you're saying something that I don't believe, I'm not going to let you get away with it. And vice versa. Kind of going all the way back to the Gruey stories. I mean, I don't know if you remember where we were both at that time, but we're very different people. And it was just kind of nice to have somebody to bounce ideas off of that wasn't the coddling, like, oh, it'll be okay. It's like, Aaron, don't be an idiot. Why are you doing that?
I say it in a loving terms.
Well, sure, but I think that, lots of people just kind of, they don't get super close to you because they don't say those things when you get to hear them. So I think it's just those little things that make you kind of realize the friendships that you do want ones you do appreciate and respect. Word.
One thing that I like a lot about you is that I just remember even going back to going to school with you, like that's when I would spend the most time. But you were always genuinely interested in how I was doing, and to have somebody ask how you're doing, and then also plan on having the time to listen to how you're doing. You don't have people like that all the time in your life, and I just always remember thinking that if I had things, I could go to you and it would be legitimate, somebody listening to me and giving me feedback and having a two-way conversation instead of me just pouring out my thing like, would you stop talking? But yeah, you are probably one of the most thoughtful and caring people that I've met, and just have the time to do that for people, or to set aside. It's not like people have time or they don't. It's people that place priority on that, and you place priority on taking time out. So, thanks, Hannah.
Ash, I love how courageous you have been as long as I've known you. And I think back to being in middle school with you and how much courage it takes to be willing to be yourself in middle school when you're trying to figure out who the heck you are and then who other people want you to be and what we're supposed to do and be. And so I remember one of the first times you just really freaked me out and also amazed me, and it stuck with me. And I actually told your parents about this a while ago, so I feel like I should tell you. You spoke in chapel in front of hundreds of students, and you talked about stuff really important to you. You talked about conversations you have with God and asking God for a best friend and asking God for stuff that wasn't in your life and that you really wanted and that you'd identified that you really wanted. And I just sat there and I was just like, people shouldn't talk about this. I'm like, there's for her. I'm like, how did she just do that? That's amazing. But at the same time, it was so far from where I was at that I just couldn't understand. And so it was foreign, at the same time courageous and admirable. And I think it's just a pattern. You've always been willing to be who you are, and it's been important to you that you don't put up a facade in front of people. You want them to know who you are, which is scarier than all get out, because people, if they actually know who you are and they reject you, it hurts a lot more than if they don't know you and they reject you or like you or whatever. So I just think your whole life has just been so courageous and personal level, and then in learning, professional level, what you do with your time.
Mm-hmm.
That's something really strongly important about who you are.
I like that you are
Whoa, I think you need to flip the
Yeah, you
camera
gotta put
around.
on you.
This is not.
right in my face. No, right on.
You
It
can
doesn't
turn
do it.
around on the phone.
Oh, fun.
There you are.
Hi. Happy birthday in the future. You are okay, so when I first met you, I I thought like, okay, so she's an athlete. That's what this girl does. She's athletic. She's gonna like whip me at this baseball game right now. Because when I played baseball, it was like t-ball, and it was like cartwheels in left field and make your own like flower chains. Like ball never came out that far. So that's what I thought. Like you were she's just an athlete. That's so cool. Okay. And then like from there, you need to learn so much more about you. That like you're incredible with business. Anything business related topics, and you love it. You like to talk about it. You get like tons of books for Christmas about it, and you're just like, guess what I got for Christmas? Yeah, and it makes you happy to get business books for Christmas, and so, which is awesome. And because of what you want to do with business, and how much you want to do, and how much you like, I have no idea how to do this shit. Well, I'm just gonna start doing this, like the grad school stuff, and how like you're taking the steps and. That's cool. I also love that you make raps. I had no idea that you rap, that you love hip hop, and like seeing old.
I was like,
How's it going?
I had no idea about this girl. So I
No,
thought,
no, no.
okay, so athlete, business, accounting stuff, and then I saw like, I think we became Facebook friends, and I started stalking you, and I saw pictures of you guys dressed in like hip hop swag and like
Our
doing.
dress up day, it's got. Yeah.
It was so great, and then I like how when you really want to like get to know somebody better, sometimes you offer them, I'll write you a rap, I'll write you a rhyme. It's just like.
Yeah, that tends to come out and not really.
I know, and you always regret it. Yep.
Yep.
I love it. I love that there's so much more to you than just meets the eye. I know that you've been, really popularized in this region for your running, and for all that you've done there. You're like athletic hero around here. But there's so much more to you, and it's been cool getting to find all that out over the years. And I do want to rap. My birthday's coming up in May, and
Whoa,
I love
whoa,
it.
whoa.
I was just saying, yeah, I want to rap.
Yeah.
No, mine's in August.
September.
September.
But I love you, and I'm so excited to see what happens down the road. Yeah. Happy 25th soon. I also heard it's when your body starts to decay. It's when we turn.
Just getting closer to your dad.
So you're joining the club, yeah. All right.
For me, it's since meeting you, highly encouraging, always smiling, always positive, and those three things you rub off on more people than I think you know. Especially being in the same youth ministry and stuff, and leading young adults, it's hard. But when you have people like you inside of it, it gets a little easier because you do rub off those characters, those characteristics, and those fruits of the Spirit. So those are the things that I see the most often, hanging out with groups, with Josiah, and going adventuring, caving, whatever you do, you always do it with a smile on your face and a lot of just love for everyone around you. So, you're welcome.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.